Welcome back, man. Warm up rivalry. Uh, week one. Week one is out the way, man. We've got to start the conversation down in Tallahassee. Boston College goes into Tally last night, and impressive win. They beat down Florida State from beginning to end, bro. Quarterback impressive. I know we've heard about him before. Somebody you mentioned, Tim Lewis, impressive defense. Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Great win for the program, bro. What's your thoughts after last night?
Man, can't overlook Boston College, man. Coach Bill O'Brien, former NFL coach, man, putting together a great staff, like you mentioned. Tim Lewis, man, was actually my coach at Birmingham Iron and in the XFL, and on top of that, the USFL, man. Great guy, very smart. They put together a great game plan, man. I actually talked to him before the game, man. He said that he thought they can go in there and win. And that's what it starts with, man. Just believing off the rip. You know, you have to believe that you can go in there and get it done, man. Um, troubles in Tallahassee, man, with Florida State. They got to figure it out, man. They got to figure it out. I keep looking at the stat line of DJ Ungale, but by looking at that, you would think that he's not doing bad, man. But it's some things that in the game by just watching the eye test, man, he just got a hit and he's missing it. And it's causing the morale of the team to go down. I can see it already. I've been in those situations. And I just know how they are, especially defensively, man. If they feel like they can't put points up, it's like, man, why are we wasting time stopping people? So they got to get some things figured out, man. Main question is, how long do you give them? How much of a leeway or rope do you give them? Do you give them another game, or do you make the change ASAP? I think that's a question Norvell has to answer like ASAP, and he has to figure that out if he wants to get this thing turned in the right direction.
Yeah, bro. Like you said, trouble. It's ugly, man. I text you during the game, bro, and you start to hear boos from the crowd.
Mm.
That's one thing, man. We both know it's hard to come back from. It's hard to
Mm-hmm.
come back from it, man. And this is first quarter. First quarter stat line again. I think 2 for 4, 1 for 4, 4 yards after the first quarter. I hadn't seen that in a while when you talk about Power Five or ever in Power Five football. Um, man, it was sad to see, honestly, man. And for me, it was more so body language. When you talk about body language, the sacks, the picks, man, it doesn't seem like he got that fire in him. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like when you grow up in Florida, when you play for one of them Florida teams or in the SEC, ACC, big time football, bro, you got to have passion. I ain't seeing it, bro. I'm not seeing it. I definitely think it's trouble in Tallahassee right now. Um, do you make the change now? Don't know. I don't know. I feel like you have to let him. You have to give him another game. You have to give him another game. He gave you a chance to. I mean, it's not. If you watch the game, man, you would say it could have been worse. Put it that way. The score could have been much worse, man. They competed. So again, I'm curious to see what ends up happening in Tallahassee with DJ and with the entire program right now.
Man, like we spoke last week, they had two conference games back to back, two conference games. And to go down 0-2, man, it's just that's gonna be hard to come back from. They're gonna have to win out. Period. They're gonna have to win out. They can't lose another another conference game. But check this out, man. We're talking about giving DJ another game, man. Mike Norvell has a real dilemma on his hands, man. Their next game is at home. All right, it's 12 o'clock. They actually play. They got this week off, so they got a weekend off, and they play
Much
the next.
needed. Much needed.
They play the Memphis Tigers. Not an easy game.
Nope, not at all.
Not an easy game. It's gonna be interesting for Florida State, man. I'm looking over the schedule right now. Check this out. After that, so they got Memphis. After that, they play Cal. Then they go to SMU. They got Duke. Go to Miami, North Carolina. Go to Notre Dame. Has Charleston Southern at home, and then they have Florida at home.
Oh man, when you talk about a heavy back end for that group, I see a few. I see winnable games. I see winnable games. Can they score with SMU? Probably not. Right now, when you think about it, probably not, bro. Next game, Memphis. I just saw Memphis coming off of a big win, I believe, this past weekend. I don't know exactly who they beat, but Memphis coming off a good win. Cal is a team that, our Tigers will play this week. Definitely not a pushover. Man, man, man. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see how DJ bounces back. We'll see how the team bounces back. Man, they got some guys. They got some guys can play. But will they, as a team, be able to pull it in, focus, and not worry about the outside noise right now?
That's gonna be the hardest part. I know it, man. Day and age, man, there's so much social media. It's gonna be hard for them guys not to see it. He's hearing it, he's reading it, and be honest, that probably plays a little on his psyche why he's not playing so well. After the first game,
Yeah.
people was on him about how he needed to quit football and get a job, man. Just off the rip, man. His first game, you got to show these guys support, man. They are still, kids. You know what I'm saying? Be influenced. So I'm sure if people got behind him and was like, man, it's okay, man. We go get this thing together. I'm sure he would play a whole lot better.
He's gonna need his team to do that. Nobody on the outside is gonna do it. We both know that. They could care less. He's gonna have to have some guys in the locker room who believe in him. But that's what's to be seen. Does the program, does the head coach, does his teammates believe in him? Right now, who knows? Like I said, body language after yesterday, each 3 and out, man, hanging your head. After the sacks, hanging your head. It wasn't a lot of communication going on. So concerning for me, to say the least.
Say the least.
Say the least. Man, let's keep it in tally. Let's keep it in tally, man. Florida A&M. They squeaked away yesterday, 22-18, man. What you got? Was you able to hear any rumblings about the game, how everything went?
Man, those guys are playing with fire, man. I don't know what it is. South Carolina State went up, I think, 10 points late in the fourth quarter. I think it might have been like 8 minutes left in the game, and it seemed that as though FAMU just was like, hey, okay, we could possibly lose. Let's turn this around. Let's get it done. Things just started lining up, man. Just started lining up. They have to play better early, okay? Straight up, they have to play better early. It's very stagnant. I don't know what they need to do to get going, but it's very stagnant offensively, very stagnant. And what's crazy is their quarterback actually won Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row after having these stagnant starts. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, man. FAMU, Florida A&M University plays Miami this week. Miami's coming off a big win in the Swamp, which we'll discuss later. They go overlook FAMU. Can FAMU go in there and get a win? I highly doubt it. But can they show a better showing than what they have been doing? I believe so. They can.
Man, Miami impressive. It's gonna take everything under the sun, man, for them boys to go in there and get a win. But man, I was listening to Ocho and Shannon, man. They say if it's any game that you want to go in and shine, man, these are the type of games that you go in and get noticed.
Yes,
These
sir.
are the games you go in and get noticed. And I keep mentioning it. 30 transfers again. Don't know where these guys came from, but I'm sure they came from a lot of great schools. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So Cam Ward gonna have another opportunity to go out and make his name, make another name for himself in the state. Curious to see how it play out. But man, definitely excited for FAMU. I know they excited to play at Hard Rock Stadium. Did they play there yesterday or this past weekend?
Who did
I think that they played in Tally. That's right. They played at home.
Yeah, they played South Carolina State at home.
I was thinking about the Orange Blossom Classic.
Actually, it was North Carolina Central versus Alabama State.
Yeah. Central ended up winning that game, right?
They did.
Yeah, good ball game. I think it got rained out for a little bit. But yeah, man, they'll be at Hard Rock Stadium, Florida A&M. Excited. We'll see how it plays out, man.
Yes, sir.
Bro, what about Clemson? What about Clemson? Georgia went in to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and
The second home.
Man, second home, put a beat down on them boys, bro. Again, they take on the personality of their head coach. You see it week in, week out. Them guys play great defense, man, and a tough group, man. What was your thoughts watching that game?
Oh man, my thoughts this game, man, is there is definitely a talent difference. From what I can remember, it did start off close in the first half. Halftime, I think it was like maybe 7-3 or something. Don't quote me that, but it ended up finishing a beatdown. And I think the difference is, man, is Dabo is going to have to get in this portal and start utilizing these guys. I know he's a firm believer in basically not getting in the portal, recruiting our guys, and putting them through our system and doing all this, man. But the times have changed, man. And he has to adapt. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing to say the least. And I know he's embarrassed about it. But it is what it is. Where do you go from here? Georgia obviously was the more superior team. They came in 10.5 favorite. And they covered. So they are the number one team in the nation for a reason. They showed that. And it's gonna be interesting to see how Clemson can bounce back from this loss.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, man. I definitely took Clemson in the 13.5 points. By the end of the first quarter, I was praying that Georgia didn't score again. It got out of hand fast, man. They was in control the whole game, especially the second half. I think it says a lot about Georgia's team, though, bro. Just overall quarterback, you mentioned that was, going to be a deciding factor in that ball game, and it was. Georgia's quarterback, man, came out, played a great game, had control of the game. Again, defense, very, very, very impressive. That defense reminds you of the 2010 Alabama defenses, 2009, the great ones that Saban had. So again,
the coordinator for those was.
Exactly, man. And that's what it reminds you of. They taking on that personality. Can Clemson bounce back? I don't think so, bro. That the playing field has been leveled. We're seeing it now with a lot of these games when you talk about Georgia Tech. Can Clemson beat Georgia Tech? I don't know. Can Clemson beat Boston College? You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't come out and say, man, I'd take Clemson in those ball games right now. So I think that that talent gap is gonna come back and hunt Dabo. Again, don't know why they made the decision to not go in the portal. Kind of makes zero sense to me. If I'm a head coach coaching in college right now, that's the first place I'm going before I even go to the high school level. So, man, we'll see how it works out for him, man. I heard a lot of other people, man, saying that it's a huge talent gap, and you can tell.
It is, man. It's very visible, man. What's crazy is during the game, man, at halftime, it was only 6-0. It was 6-0, and man, they went at halftime. Kirby probably did some cursing, very explicit, and they came out in each quarter and put up 14 points. So they went 28-3 in the second half. It was 6-0 at halftime, and they went 28-3 at halftime, man. So either somebody ain't adjusting or somebody got somebody behind and lit a fire under them.
And what was the final score again?
34-3. 34-3, man. Clemson has a bounce back game. Won't be easy, man. Won't be easy. They playing App State. Won't be an easy bounce back game. No cupcakes over there. Let's see how they do. We'll tough one. Something similar to Colorado playing North Dakota State. App State has a pedigree of playing high class football. They're not afraid. Starting back when they went into the big house and got a win over Michigan. So they kept that name up, and they go get somebody. They used to get somebody every year. Last year they should have got North Carolina, but no, the ball just didn't bounce their way, literally.
We'll see, man. All right, bro. University of Florida, dog. We both talked about this game. I took UF, man, to somehow beat Miami in the swamp. In the swamp. What was your thoughts going in that game, man? During the games, more so. Let's start with Cam Ward's performance. Let's start there. Cam Ward's performance. How did you feel?
Man, Cam Ward is advertising was worth every penny that Miami spent on him. During the game, when I got to catch up with it, they spoke on the quarterbacks that had been drafted from Miami in the top 3 rounds. And it dated back as far as I want to say it was like 1971. They had a guy that's been that guy. Don't quote me on that quite year because they started naming guys like Sister Verdi and guys like that. I know that's probably like 80s or something. So, but they were just talking about how that they haven't had a guy, and I think that's what they've been missing, man. We always talk about, man, it starts with the quarterback, and I think Miami has been missing that element, just like our Auburn Tigers, of what's getting them over the top. You can see what happens when you get a guy that could make some plays and keep you in the game and honestly win you a game. What things can do. So they got their guy, money well spent. They've already made it back, and he's got them believing, man. He's got them believing. I see a lot of people throwing up the U, and rightfully so, man. They went into Florida and got a huge win, man. I don't care, how good or bad you think Florida is right now. Everybody has their opinion, but they went into the Swamp, primetime game, 3:30, sold out, and they got a win. They dominated from the beginning to finish. Great win by Miami.
Yeah, look great. Look great, man. For a number 19 team, definitely look better than FSU yesterday, ranked at 10, at the 10 spot. Man, Cam Ward, bro, impressive performance. A lot of the throws that he was making, very comfortable. Again, we was kind of going back and forth in that game. I said, bro, he looked comfortable.
Yeah.
Rolling to the left, throwing back pylon, man. Those type of throws, man, you can't
get you paid.
Get you paid big time. Get you paid. Get you paid. After week 1, from what I've seen, he's the number 1 quarterback that should come off the board. That's my thoughts. Performance, the way that he controlled the game, just overall, man, I think that he played a great game. And his teammates trust him. And you know how important it is, man, to have your teammates trust. And I don't know if it was the offseason leading up into that game, but man, it seems like they bought in. Everybody believes in him. Seems like he has command of the team, the offense. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see the entire year fold out. But man, I'm high on Cam Ward. And they played a good game, man, in the Swamp.
Yeah, man, he should be pretty high on, man. He went 26 for 35. It's less than 10 passes he didn't complete. And actually he completed 27 of them because one of them was a pick. So he completed 26 to 35, 385 yards. He had an average of 11 yards per pass with 3 touchdowns. QBR 95.7. He played absolutely exceptional, man. His counterpart, Graham Mertz, went 11 for 20, 91 yards with a 19.1 QBR. So he came in and played it exceptionally well, man. And like I said, he has these guys believing. And it's not just what he did with his arm, man. He kept things alive with his legs. And you know how you on defense, man. And it's third and 6, and you got everybody locked up, and the quarterback get that first down, run for that first down, man. It's a gut punch. It's a gut punch. He did it with ease. He didn't take no hits. He got out of bounds. He played real professional, man. I like what I'm seeing from Cam.
Yeah, agreed, man. Ready to see it play out, man. All right, Notre Dame, great win this week, man, against Texas A&M. They go into College Station, and they shocked, I think, the Aggies, man. I definitely don't think they expected that. Played a tough game, and Notre Dame. I picked Texas A&M to win that game. Notre Dame surprised me. They was a tough, physical team. They won in the trenches. And like Saban said, man, sometimes if you spend the money on the wrong guys, it don't mean nothing. So I'm not saying that, but Notre Dame definitely came in and stood on business, bro. So great win, Notre Dame, man. What was your thoughts about the Aggies, man? And more so, how impressed were you with Notre Dame?
Notre Dame is starting to take on the attitude of their coach, man. Their coach was a linebacker from Ohio State, man. Young guy, able to relate to the guys, man. Not too much more to say, man. They got some playmakers on the team, man. I was watching them, and they get to the ball, and they take the ball away. What I would say is they surprised me, to be honest. Notre Dame always seems to drop the ball on big stages, and they had the primetime game for that night. But I'm not too surprised because of the team they playing, Texas A&M. I feel like Texas A&M is a mirror image of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has some nice weapons though. I like the running back number 4, nice feet, great vision, man. I think he scored the dagger touchdown. I was really impressed with how he played. It started out as a real slugfest for real, defensively wise. Nobody getting in, nobody scoring points, field goal for field goal, and then things turned around after halftime. It was a slow game to start out. Not much action. People would say it was boring, but then they got into it in crunch time, man. And Notre Dame had what it took to
Yeah,
pull it out.
definitely a defensive game. I think it was 6-6 at half. But again, it was one that I definitely did not move from, man. Good game. Notre Dame surprised me. Like you said, bro, it seems as if they're taking on the personality of the head coach. I think he has a plan. I think that he's trying to really build Notre Dame to be something special, and find their way to get into the playoffs picture. And I'm seeing that right now. I think they're currently ranked number 7. If they can, continue to play great ball this year, I definitely see Notre Dame in the playoff picture, man.
Yeah, man, they definitely. And just with all they come with, man, it's one of the biggest brands in college football, if not, all of sports. So, if they do handle their business on the schedule wise, no matter who they playing, you'll see Notre Dame in there.
Bingo, man. What about LSU? What about LSU, man? They went out again. The game was in Las Vegas, playing against a USC team who many expected to be very soft defensively. Obviously everybody knows about the offensive firepower they typically have. Man, LSU. I'm sure you've seen the press conference by Brian Kelly. He's slamming his fist on the podium, pissed off. Man, what do we think about that program? What do we think about USC beating up on a SEC team?
Man, something about Kelly just doesn't seem authentic to me, man. I feel like he's trying to sell it too hard to be liked or on the cool side. This is the third straight season that they've had a big matchup, on a neutral site field, and they lost. They played Florida State twice, one in Louisiana, one in Florida, and lost both of those. And now you come back with, quoted to be a softer team, more finesse, and you let them push you around and beat you, man. I know they was talking about how USC had over 1,400 pounds and gained muscle mass this year. Changing up their strength and conditioning coach, and man, it seemed to show, man. They stood toe to toe with an SEC powerhouse and got physical with them, man. It was really eye opening to see. I think that they had the better quarterback as well. I say the better quarterback will always win you the game, man. I think he did a great job of getting the ball, putting him in places where guys catch it. And he also had playmakers making plays, man. One of the receivers had maybe the catch of the year so far, with a one-hander. So USC definitely surprising. I think they made a statement to say, we're here and we're here to stand on business. LSU, back to the drawing board, same thing could happen, that they did last year. They lost those games and went on to have a very successful year. But what's a successful year for them? It's a different standard. Is it the 10-2, 9-3, or is it undefeated? So it's all about your perception of your program and what you think they should be.
Yeah, you said it, bro. USC looked like they trained for this all summer. All summer, bro. You can tell USC knew, hey, we got LSU coming out to the West Coast. These SEC guys, LSU's brand speaks for itself. We know LSU very well. I think we beat LSU once while we was there.
Yep.
But you can tell USC knew all summer, this is who we working for. We're going to come in. These boys going to want to fight, and we're going to be ready for it.
Yes, sir.
But, man, like you said about Brian Kelly, the authentic piece, I don't know what's going on, bro, but he does not seem like an SEC guy to me. I said it. I don't try. When we was picking predictions, we both picked LSU, standing with the SEC. But I told you, something about Brian Kelly, man. I don't know what it is. He just does not give me that SEC coach vibe. Just don't give it to me. And what I do know is recruiting in the state of Louisiana, boy, you got to be a coach. Like, man, who did they have last year? Orgeron?
Yeah. Well, not last year.
2-3 years ago. My bad.
Yeah. Brian Kelly going on his third year this year.
Okay. Man, Ed seemed like an SEC guy. Just I don't know why, but just seemed like an SEC guy, man. But um, we'll see. We both know what LSU got coming. To start out your season again with a loss is never good, but in the SEC, like you said, with the goals they got, is what does success look like for them? Is that 10-2? Is it 9-3? For LSU, man, they want to win championships, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough now in the SEC because of the loss to USC. Now, if you take that loss to a Bama, to a Georgia, to a Missouri, I think it sits different than the loss to USC. So, now we'll see how it play out, bro. We'll definitely see how it play out. One team that I was very impressed with, though, that held it down for the SEC was Vandy. Vandy beat Vandy beat Virginia Tech. They was a 10.5 underdog, I think, plus 400 money line type deal, man. And I think they were up 17-3. They ended up going to overtime, though. I don't know if you was able to check that game out. They ended up going to overtime. Vandy field goal kicker missed the game-winning field goal. Took it in the OT, man, won the game, but great win for Vandy, bro. I seen a meme of like a La Vandy mascot looking at University of Florida and LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like, hey, what y'all doing? Y'all ain't holding it down. So, man, shout out to the Commodores, man. Shout out to Vandy. Man, the landscape of college football, bro. This is gonna be like one of the best years, in my opinion, because of the talent level. I think the talent level gonna be a much level across the board, man. So we'll see how it play out.
Definitely.